said, ALEF is a major IT value-add distributor in Central and Southeastern Europe. We has been founded in 1994 in Czech Republic, and then we expanded to the Slovakia, Hungary, former Yugoslav republics, and of course to Romania. As of now, we have more than 300 of employees, and the revenue is 185 million euros. So this is how our revenue and employment history, and as you can see, we are still increasing our revenue and our employee staff. This can be done using our 4 pillars within ALEF. So the first is the distribution, right? So we are distributor number 1 in Czech Republic. We are number 1 distributor in Slovakia and also in Hungary. We have a strong relationship with our partners, which is very important for us and for the partners as well, and for their business. Then we support our partner using our professional services. So the part of our professional service or deliverables of our professional services are pre-sales, consultancy, solution design, implementation, and of course project management. The third pillar of ALEF services are managed services, also to deliver value-add services to our partners or customers in case that they have a lack of resources or knowledge on their side. So, and the last, 4th pillar is training, and that's why we are today here. So we are authorized training center for Cisco, F5, NetApp. We have training tracks for cybersecurity. We have also a testing center. We have lots of competency centers and so on. So training is very important part of our business. And this is just an idea what I want to share with you, that we only teach what we can do. What does it mean? It means that we want to deliver training in the highest quality what we can deliver. And this is done by our highly skilled technicians. So we have an experience from real life, we have experience with products, we have experience with implementation, and on top of theoretical knowledge, we can put all of our experiences to our trainings. This is a review of all of our learning partnership within all countries. We are able to deliver our training services. So as you can see, this is not only about F5, but also about Cisco technology, AWS, CompTIA, which is focused on security, and Secom, which is also focused on security and some testing methodology. Let me introduce some interesting numbers within the training. So within the Cisco track, we have more than 45 Cisco trainers within the group, which are certified Cisco instructors. We have 15 CCIE guys, and that's really powerful force from the technical point of view to deliver Cisco trainings in highest possible quality. The same situation is within the F5. We have 5 F5 trainers within the group. 3 of those guys have the highest F5 certification, which is certified solution expert within the group, and it will be discussed later by Jiří. And of course, just to demonstrate that we are able to deliver not only the, I wouldn't say legacy technology, but the well-known technology, we are also able to deliver trainings for new kind of business, which is definitely AWS or public clouds itself. So we invest a lot of effort to be able to understand and to deliver to our partners and customers such new technologies like public clouds, hybrid clouds, and that kind of technologies. So from F5 training point of view, we have 3 ATC sites within our region. ATC stands for Authorized Training Center, and it's the only place where certified trainings from F5 can be delivered, right? So those sites are in Prague, in Czech Republic, in Bratislava in Slovakia, and in Budapest in Hungary. As of now, in Romania, ALEF has a status of Authorized Education Center. What does it mean? It means that ALEF Romania is able to deliver either online, either the trainings which is led by F5 employees, or online trainings which can be delivered by authorized instructors like me, like Jiří, like Tomáš, or like any other of my colleagues from the ALEF. And these guys are guys I'm talking about. So as you can see, Jiří, Martinenko, and myself, we have the highest certification from the F5, which is Cisco Solution Expert. And then other guys has also certifications, which is Certified Technology Specialist for several technologies like Local Traffic Manager or DNS or Application Security Manager and so on. And then Aurel, as you know him, Aurel has already started with F5 certification, and now he is also F5 certified in the level certified administrator. Now we are able to deliver a lot of, actually, the whole portfolio of F5 trainings. And the point is that we are able to deliver that trainings not only in local market, but also we are able to deliver that trainings in all ATC sites, or online we are able to deliver all trainings, for example, in Romania. So that's a very important thing. So here we have some trainings numbers, just to have some imagine how many students from F5 trainings point of view were already taught by us. So in Czech Republic there were more than 270 students from 2014 in Slovakia and in Hungary. When I sum these two countries, it's roughly about 600 of students. Okay, so now we are ready for the next step in Romania, and we are ready to become as a F5 authorized training center in Romania, and this is our goal, right? To be F5 ATC in Romania. Okay, so this is short introduction regarding training, and let me introduce my colleagues. Roman Tomášek, which will present you the rest of agenda we have in plan, right? So I had a bad presentation, so wait for it. Now, perfect. Let me share it for you. Perfect. Good morning. My name is Roman Tomášek, and I'm responsible for F5 technology, Flow technology, and Cisco Prime infrastructure. So my part of this presentation is about F5 introduction. So you can see that F5 is a leader in the ADC. ADC is Application Delivery Controllers. It is the Gartner report, which is reported every 2.5 years. So this report is from the year 2016. So it means that it's actual for now. And you can see that F5 is the leader in this technology, followed by Citrix and Radware. F5 has a wide range of customers, and this technology is very popular in Czech Republic, in Slovakia, and I hope in the other countries. What it means, ADC. ADC, Application Delivery Controller, is device which is responsible for fast, secure, and available delivery of data between client and servers. F5 introduced its own software, which is known as TMOS, Traffic Management Operating System. And it means that this delivery is provided by this operation system, which is very well done with F5 hardware. So it means that some functionality is delivered to the hardware, and it means that this delivery is very fast and responsible. You can see that the ADC solution is provided by one device, so you don't need to buy more devices for other functionalities. So, for example, in the previous years from Cisco, if you buy the solution from Cisco, Cisco had application control engine for load balancing, and the other device for web application firewall was web application firewall from Cisco. So you had two devices for more functionality. So ADC is a complex solution for many functionality which is necessary in today's network. F5 has two types of devices, hardware and virtual. So you can see F5 hardware platforms. There are two types of hardware platforms. One type is non-modular. The name of this device is Big IP, and modular device, which is Viprion.
On the left side of this slide, you can see two types of non-modular solution. On the top, you can see the new platforms from F5. These platforms have I in the name, so you can see I2000, I4000, and so on. And below this new platform, you can see older platform, which is standard series without I, so you can see 2000 series, 4000 series, and so on. New platform is 2 times powerful than the older platform. On the right side, you can see the modular solution. So the performance increasing, which with putting new blades to this chassis. So you can buy Veprion with only 1 blade, and if you want the more performance, you can put the other blades to the same chassis. F5 supports virtual edition, so it means that there are 2 possibilities for deploying F5 solution. So you can use the private cloud or hypervisors like VMware and Microsoft Hyper-V, or you can use F5 in the public cloud like AWS and Microsoft Azure. So you can see that a wide range of hypervisors and providers are supported by F5. Okay. As I told you, the F5 has 2 solutions, virtual and hardware, and you can buy modules for these solutions. So it means that you can add functionality to this hardware or virtual edition. So the first functionality first module is local traffic manager. Local traffic manager is responsible for load balancing, so it means that F5 provides support for performance and availability delivery of data between clients and servers. LTM provides TCP optimization, so it means that there is some TCP offloading of TCP data. SSL offload, it means that you can F5 can provide encryption and decryption, so you can terminate HTTPS on the F5 device, and from the F5 to the servers there will be HTTP data. So there is the support for different types of SSL functionality. So for example, you can use end-to-end SSL, so it means that the communications from the client to the F5 is based on HTTPS. F5 provides the decryption of this communication, so it means that F5 sees the HTTP headers, so F5 can provide some manipulation with HTTP headers, and then F5 can again encrypt the traffic data toward the servers, so it means that the communication between F5 and servers will be HTTPS communication. So it is the other example of using SSL on F5. You can use SSL as proxy, so LTM offers SSL proxy functionality or SSL optimization functionality. As I told you, F5 can manipulate with HTTP headers, so F5 can insert HTTP headers like HTTP cookies, for example, or F5 can rewrite some HTTP headers like, for example, HTTP redirection. So it is the first module. the second module is DNS module, domain name server services module. The previous name of this module was Global Traffic Manager. This module is responsible for global load balancing. It means that you can deploy high availability between the data centers by using this module. So it means if you have, for example, 2 data centers, you can load balance traffic between these data centers by using DNS module. In each data center, there will be some IP addresses, and these addresses are mapped to the DNS name. So when the DNS request goes to the DNS module, DNS module provides load balancing between data centers and responds with the data center which is, for example, which has better performance than the other data centers. So DNS module responds with IP address of this data center which has better performance than the other data center. When the primary data center is not responsible, so Global Traffic Manager or DNS module responds with IP address from the second data center. So there is possibility for redundancy between data center based on DNS name. You can use F5 DNS module as DNS local server, so it means you can use it as bind. So DNS DNS bind can be replaced by F5 technology. DNS module supports DNSSEC, so it means there is some security of DNS request and response. Very popular module is Application Security Module, ASM. It is the Web Application Firewall. It means that this module is responsible for protecting of your application on layer 7. So this module provides protection against zero-day attacks and bots. You can use ASM as like auditing tools, so you can see some information about holes in your applications. Access Policy Manager is used for remote access. So there are possibility to create SSL or IPsec VPN solutions, or you can use APM as authentication and authorization tool for your application. So you can see that there is support for identity federation, there is support for single sign-on. You can use F5 APM for SAML and virtual desktop infrastructure. Advanced Firewall Manager is typical layer 2 to layer 4 firewall. So it's data center firewall. You can assign this firewall functionality to virtual servers. It means that you can protect each application with this firewall. This firewall is responsible for detection and protection from distributed DOS or DOS attacks. So you can create some rules for protect. You can create some different rules for protect different applications. Fraud protection module, web safe module, or mobile safe module is responsible for protection from phishing and malware. You can use this module for transactions protection. So you can see that you can add functionality to the F5 device by buying some modules. So you can see on the left side in the red cycle, so you can see this functionality which is supported by different modules. The last module or tool is iWorkflow. iWorkflow is the management of F5 devices, which is responsible for cloud services. And this tool is used with Cisco ACI solution, application-centric infrastructure. So Cisco has some SDN solution, which is known as ACI. So there is possibility to use F5 with this SDN solution from Cisco. The last product from F5 is the centralized management of F5 devices. So you can use this software for central management of all devices. So it means you can use it for hardware or virtual appliances. You can use this software for archiving, configuration, and images from F5 devices. You can use this software. The name of this software is BigIQ. So you can see that F5 devices use the word big. So BigIP is the non-modular F5 device, and BigIQ is the centralized management. So BigIQ has a lot of functionality. So the first, as you can see on the slide, the first functionality is BigIP device administration. So you can see information about F5 devices. You can see the serial number of F5 devices. You can see which modules are deployed on each F5 devices. There is possibility to create some templates, some configuration templates, so you can put the same configuration to more F5 devices in your network. So it means that there is the possibility to manage traffic configuration. There is possibility to archive this configuration, and there is possibility to create templates for cloud solution. So we have some. My colleague has experience with deployment F5 devices with Ansible. So you can use Ansible for creating some template, and you can use BigIQ as the tool which cooperate with Ansible for deploying F5 configuration to more devices in your network. There is possibility to create application protections rules. So it means there is possibility to configure ASM module from this BigIQ solution. So you can centrally manage all web application firewall rules in this solution. There is possibility to create rules for APM module. So you can see that there is the manage and access identity protections, and so on. So all modules from F5 are supported in the BigIQ solution. On the left side, you can see on the bottom and on the left side, you can see that F5 provides license management on BigIQ solution. So it means if you have virtual editions, you can add or you can deploy a lot of virtual appliances in your network. And if you don't want to use some virtual edition, so you can remove it, and the license is forwarded back to the license management server. So BigIQ is responsible for license management. So it means that that BigIQ has license pool. So there are a lot of licenses for your F5 virtual editions, and you can use this license from central point, and you can use it and you can remove it from the license pool. And the last one is that BigIQ supports REST API solution, so you can use this software with some orchestration tools, and the communication is based on REST API. So it's all about from the general overview of F5 technology. So do you have any questions about this overview?
Chiar vă încurajez să aveți întrebări.
I have a question regarding BigIQ. Can you make a different example of such product from Cisco, for instance? Maybe the audience are more familiar with Cisco products, and it would be much easier for them to put this product into the right category.
BigIQ is centralized management only for F5, but there is possibility to integrate it with some Cisco solution by using REST API. So if the Cisco solution has possibility to use REST API for the other vendors, so there is no problem to integrate Cisco solution with BigIQ solutions. But for now, as I told you, ACI used REST API on iWorkflow for integration F5 devices to Cisco ACI solutions. But for now, this model is old because there was a lot of dependencies on Cisco side and on F5 side. So it means that for now, Cisco has no solution for integration F5 devices to their software. I think.
Otázka byla, jestli má Cisco srovnatelný produkt s BigIQ.
Jo, takhle. And
just to clarify, the question was if there is a Cisco product that is comparable to BigIQ.
Yes, a similar product.
Similar product. Okay. So Cisco has the similar product. So this product is Cisco Prime Infrastructure, but
exactly
this product is only for Cisco devices. So there is no possibility to add some different devices like F5.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the presentation earlier, you said that you have a protection for phishing and commercial transactions. As I know, we have something similar from Kaspersky. How it's made and what is different to you?
No, it's a question for my colleague.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's that?
Please, can you repeat the question? I heard just that you was asking about FPS.
In presentation earlier, you presented some features of anti-phishing and protection from commercial transactions. We have something similar in our portfolio from Kaspersky. How it's different? How it's made in F5? I don't know. I want to know.
I don't know the Kaspersky solution, but I can provide you more information about WebSafe, which is the marketing name for the FPS and the mobile safe. So WebSafe is a
I just want to say there are a lot of phishing in Romania, especially of banking. We have some frauds last year, and I know if we find this as an opportunity.
I think that there is still opportunity for that product also in Czech market, because we use it in Czech. I know banks which use that product also in different countries like Slovakia, Austria, and so on. And that product is able to detect phishing campaigns. Also, it is able to detect malware in browsers using JavaScript, right? So when the client is communicating with the site, then the F5 is able to inject some specific code to the browser when we are talking about web safe to detect some malicious activity on the client side. The second product is mobile safe, and the mobile safe is also part of fraud protection service. But the mobile safe is intended to use with the native applications, so which means that the F5 provides some SDK, and that SDK is built within your application, and then when the application is communicating again to the F5, or actually with the services, which is published by some company which own mobile safe, then the F5 is able to stimulate that SDK on the client side, and then there is some, communication between that SDK and the F5, and I mean the big IP F5, and to detect whether the device is rooted or whether there is some, SMS grabbing or DNS spoofing or certificate spoofing or tampered application and so on. So this is how it works.
I have another question about the commercial transaction. It's some kind of build integrated with some kind of a new financial tools like Revolut or something like that. We have in Romania, by example, some kind of trade secure when you have the payment and you have a safe browser and a special SMS to record your online transaction.
As far as I know, there is no integration with third parties in terms of how that product works, but the integration you can perform using this product is that you are able to score, given client, and based on that score, you can say to the third party that there is something bad.
There's no PayPal or Amazon or other payment methods. It's security.
It is not based on it is not. There is no relationship between methods. The main principle of that is that there is some components which are injected to the client side, and those components are able to detect some malicious activity on the client side. And if there is such activity, then there is sent a report back to the dashboard server, which then appears as a security incident, and then you can perform action. For example, you can contact your client that there is happening something bad on that client browser or on that client mobile device or something like that, or you can proactively block that malicious transaction. But there is no relationship with such kinds of payment methods and so on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Jiří Doubek. I'm a F5 certified solution expert, and I should introduce you to F5 professional certification program. The F5 professional certification program is divided into 3 levels. As you can see, basic level is F5 certified administrator, second level is certified technology specialist, and third level is certified solution expert. There are several exams which you may take. First is 101, kind of basic stuff. followed by 201. After completing these 2 exams, you will be a F5 certified administrator. Then if you decide to focus more deeply to some of the technologies provided by F5, you can continue your certification path to become technology specialist on one of 4 main points of F5 business. It's divided to LTM as local traffic manager, GTM or DNS as it's called now, to cover all the global traffic manager and DNS services and so on. Third one is ASM for application security manager, as Roman mentioned, which provides security for web applications. And the fourth one is APM regarding access policy, like SSL VPNs and all kinds of access and maybe some single sign-ons to applications or clouds. And when you get all these certifications, you may become certified solution expert to prove that you know all about F5 technology. When you decide to start F5 certification, your starting point should be at the support F5.com, the article mentioned below. There are information about all exams that are currently available. You can see from 101 application delivery fundamentals, TMOS administration, up to security and cloud solution expert exams. You can always see on which TMOS version is this exam based. You can see there are some older ones based on 11.4. There are some newer ones like pre-sales fundamentals, which is based on the TMOS version 13.1. And from time to time, these exams are renewed to cover all the changes and all the new stuff that was implemented to TMOS. Each exam has published blueprint, which is basic coverage, and it shows you the topics that this exams covers. And after some time, there is usually published study guide. I will show you the difference later. As you can see, there is some brand new exam like 202 or 402. There are known blueprints, but still there isn't study guide available. But even if you go through the blueprint and search for additional information, usually on a support F5.com site, you can find all you need to successfully pass the exam. And also you can see what the passing score for exams. If we take a look on a short part of a blueprint, you can see there is some objective which you should know about. There are some examples. What will the question look like? What you should know. And also, quite important thing, there is a complexity. There are 4 levels of cognitive complexity in these questions. Start with a simple remembering of some data, which are the easiest questions. Then the harder ones are understand, apply, to verify that you understand the principles, how it works. Continues to evaluate, to analyze, evaluate, which are more and more difficult questions. As you can see in the blueprint, you can see how difficult the given topic will be. So when you are preparing for the exam, you know if this topic will be just to remember some basic stuff, or to be able to apply some solutions, or to figure out some solutions is given by the cognitive complexity. And it may help you prepare for the exam. And from the blueprint to study materials, there is you can see the blueprint just noted that you need to know some load balancing essentials, for example, and if you open the topic in study guide, there is detailed information which covers all they might ask you about in this topic. So then it's quite easy to study. When the study guide is published, you got all the information you need in one document. But in the end, it's from my point of view, it's usually good to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, to maybe to access some training, to get hands-on experience, or have hands-on experience from your customer's implementation, and then it's much easier to study. In case you don't pass the exam, which is of course not your case, but if you fail, there are some delays which goes longer and longer before you can take the exam again. Notably, if you fail the fourth time you're trying to take the exam, there is 1 year waiting time, so usually it's good to prepare yourself well to be sure you pass the exam. These exams itself, they are based on real world problems. With F5, you will not see that there is a class which is named the same way as the exam is named, and the exam just verifies if you paid any attention in this class. It doesn't work that way. All the exams are exactly based on the blueprints. So if you go through the blueprint, if you learn all the topics that are noted in a blueprint, you will see the questions which basically you prepared for. These questions are written by what F5 calls it subject matter experts. Basically, they invite people from all over the world to attend some sessions to create the questions based on either blueprint and their experience. So it's not like, as you can see, with some certification that they gave some guy a big book and said, write exams based on this book. In here, people who work with F5 technology, who are certified on the given level, they are supervised, but they write these questions, and it might, well, usually these questions are something you might meet while working with F5 technology. There are questions which these guys who wrote them, they faced in work. And also it goes hand to hand with training, because training prepares you on situations you might meet in customers' scenarios. And basically these exams are based on what another people met in customer scenarios. Every time they create new exam or refresh the exam, there is published beta, and of course you can access for some transition period of time either older version, or you can access beta and see what's going on, how the next version will look like. And there are some benefits for you if you access the beta. Usually it's cheaper. You might get some vouchers for another certification and stuff like that. When you decide to start certification, you start at certification F5.com. That is a complete separate account from your Ask F5 or Dev Central account. You can visit there all your history, all certifications you have achieved, and you can use it to schedule exams at person view testing centers. Also, these testing centers are always different from training partners to provide some reliable way to test students, because they want to test knowledge. They don't want to give anyone option to sell you course. We will prepare you for the exam. Courses or trainings shouldn't prepare you for exam. They should prepare you for a real life experience at your customer sites, and that's what's tested at these exams. So that's all from me regarding the certification program. Do you have any questions?
Basic exam for certification on selling to our partners. So this is like the mandatory one?
No, if you want to have a career with F5 and you need to administrate it, it's about regarding your partner that needs to have some knowledge about F5.
Okay.
This is not something that you have an F5 infrastructure, and I think you will need to understand what is happening, and to be certified, demonstrate the fact that you are able to sustain. Okay. And then you can have a career with F5, depend on the solution, depend on your opportunities to see that. It's about knowledge. And we have partners here that have F5 infrastructure with the clients, and I think they request some kind of training. And we are now you can have us to explain them what it's all about it, why they need. What can I tell you about in Romania? They are the most expensive trainings that we can do. There are F5 are the most expensive training, based on the fact that the people are not achieving so easily the certification. But you can count on us, because I think this will be our main differentiator. We can support any kind of certification with F5. We have guys that already passed some how can I say, some experience with us, and they can advise you. Guys, I think we will have you to help us to grow the market and to help partners to grow the F5 knowledge with their customer, and maybe with their, of course, depend on the size of the business, if it's recommended to have an F5 professional.
Thank you.
Well, usually F5 want their partners to have enough certified technicians or consultants. So if you want to be a F5 silver partner or gold partner, you should have some certified people. So, well, it's not not exactly part of the presentation, but that's how it works. It works for F5 to verify that this partner got a real knowledge of their technology and is able to provide good services for their customers.
Yeah, and I think maybe 101 and 201 are common sense. They need to have it if they want to achieve more, and then is the decision about it business-wise to go further, to see the opportunity to work on it, because F5 products are niche for us, but I think they could fit in any project, and I think any big company in Romania, if we are speaking about multinational, I not only have F5, no doubt. I don't think I'm wrong with that. Any infrastructure F5 with, like, you can find it, like a firewall, WAF, and maybe load balancing, you find F5, of course. And for that reason, I think the knowledge about it and certification, they are very important for us to know about it. Okay. If you have any questions, just address. It's not a problem about that. Okay. You can go further.
So let's start with the third part, and let me add on top of that, I mean the certification, that there is something which is called F5 Unity program, and that's the program which describes the the requirements for the partners, and of course the incentive and benefits for the partners if they are or selling F5 products and so on. So it is not only to prove the technical knowledge for the partner, it is of course for benefits for partners, some kind of incentives. Right. Okay, so Roman was talking about some F5 modules. Jiří was talking about certification levels. And now I'm going to describe the whole portfolio of F5 trainings. There are a few trainings which are, let's say, major trainings, which are intended to bring to partners or to customers the knowledge of the, I would say, the essential things like ADC, application delivery controllers, how to control it and so on, and stuff like web application security or securing the access to the applications. There are also, some, I would say, minor trainings like acceleration application manager, which is just optimization technology, or, for example, configuring Viprions or developing IOs and so on. So we will go through all the trainings, right? So start with the very basic and essential training, which is administrating big IP. That course has really straightforward goals. The first goal is to describe very in proper detail the basic big IP concepts, right? How it works, what is full proxy architecture, what is the basic configuration objects, how the traffic is going through the big IP, and these kind of really essential things. Then you have a basic configuration, how to build that kind of scenario, then how to build another kind of scenario, but of course within some basic I would say level. Then you have information about how to operate and maintain the big IP device or a couple of devices within the infrastructure. That training, actually training, so course duration is 2 days, and there are no special requirements. Of course, students should already understand some basics of TCP/IP or some basic networking. This is not intended to teach students how TCP/IP, actually IP or TCP protocols are working and so on. So they should already understand these basics of the networking concepts. Now, when I go back to the F5 certification, so if your primary goal is to understand to F5 products, then this is definitely a good point to start. And of course, if you have another achievement, which is to become F5 certified, then this is very good start to achieve the first certification level. So this course will prepare you for 201 exam, because 101 it's just basics about TCP/IP and so on. There is not so much topics on big IP or F5 technologies, but within the 200 exam, it is definitely focused on basic networking and of course on big IP solution. So if you go, or if you pass these two exams, then you can become certified administrator, as Jiří told a few minutes ago. So administrating big IP is a very essential course. I would recommend it to all students which want to gain some basic information how to maintain big IP, and it is really essential. If you have already some experience with big IP, then you should consider whether you attend this course or not, and it is definitely based on your experience. So if you have already some experience, you have already implemented, or you have already maintaining the big IP, then you can continue to a higher level of big IP course, which is configuring LTM. So the main goal of that course is to gain a knowledge of advanced big IP local traffic manager features and functionalities. So within that course, you will go through all the advanced features which LTM offers to you, from the advanced topics regarding load balancing methods, advanced topics regarding monitoring, maintaining of your applications, how you can control and manage your application traffic using profiles and that kind of stuff. So this course is really intended for guys who has already some knowledge of big IP, or have already attended to administrating big IP, because there is no room or there is no time for going through the basics of the big IP, how it works and so on. Of course, if there is some lack of knowledge on the students side, then we want to we are explaining how it works and so on. But there is no such module within the training which is going through that basics of the big IP. There is only the first module which is intended to review of the students' knowledge. So basically, students has a lab with the with the goals, right, of that lab, and he should be able to finish that lab within, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes or something like that. So there is no chapters which are intended to explain students some basic concepts. That's why there is a requirement that you should already attended big IP administrating big IP course, or you should be already F5 certified big IP administrator. So this is the configuring big IP local traffic manager. If you go to that training, then you would be able, when you put on top of that some of your experience, you would be able to pass 301A exam as a first part to become F5 certified technology specialist for LTM. Now, if you want to complete these three basic, I would say not basic, but three trainings, which is focused on LTM and some basics of troubleshooting, then you should start or you should attend to troubleshooting big IP. This course has really straightforward goals. It introduced students into the troubleshooting methodology, which has been developed by F5. So you have a step-by-step approach how to troubleshoot the issues or problems, or how to find the issues or problems in the big IP, and it is really useful methodologies when you want to speed up your troubleshooting. Then you have lots of information about which tools you should use for your troubleshooting, how that tools can be used in terms of how to use, for example, TCP dump, how to use a Wireshark to analyze traffic between on the packet level, or how to troubleshoot, for example, HTTP protocol using Fiddler proxy, or using some analysis using Wireshark, and so on and so on. So there are many troubleshooting tools. I can add, for example, SSL dump to troubleshoot SSL connection, and as you already know, when you are troubleshooting encrypted traffic, it every time introduces some issues to because you do not see everything which is within the traffic. So yeah, all that kinds and tools are included in that within that course. And of course, there are description how to work with some tools which are delivered by F5. I mean the F5 support and other F5 tools like iHealth service and so on. So this is really good course when you want to gain some knowledge about how to troubleshoot your big IP. The duration of that course is 2 days, and it is required that students should already attend it to administrating big IP, or should be already F5 certified in big IP administrator level. So when you go, or when you finish with that course, then you should be able, of course, again, you should put on top of that some of your experience. You should be able to pass 301B exam. So in the previous step we were talking about 301A exam. Now we are talking about 300B exam, which is really focused on troubleshooting. And if you pass both of them, then you become F5 certified specialist for LTM products. Okay, so it was courses for, let's say, LTM, and a good point to start, where you can start. Now, let's focus on configuring ASM. ASM stands for Application Security Manager, and it's a web application firewall which is developed by F5. Right? So the big IP ASM is a web application firewall. That course is intended to introduce some basic web security concepts and mitigation techniques, which can be mitigated, or which can be used by F5 big IP ASM products. Configuring ASM covers lots of topics. It's really complex training, but let me talk about, for example, these points. So, in the first, you will be introduced to the positive and negative policy logic and how to build that kind of policies. Then you go through the process how to build that policy using either manual or automatic way. Then you will go through the attack signatures and stuff like this about the known attacks and how to prevent from the attacks. Then there are lots of topics on the positive policy logic, like cookie protection, headers protection, URL protection, parameters protection, and much more. Then you will go through the, for example, proactive bot detection and how to deal with bots, no, not bots, but with bots. And then, for example, how you can enable web scraping detection, which is kind of reactive bot detection and mitigation. And of course, there is a really huge chapter which is focused on layer 7 DOS protection. Right? So there are lots of topics within the configuring ASM. And ASM, from my point of view, is a really most complex course. It takes 4 days, so this is the definitely longest course within the F5. And of course, there are some recommended prerequisites, like you should already attend, or students should already attend to administering Big IP, or there should be a F5 certified Big IP administrator, or there is some, recommended prerequisites that students should already know about something about HTTP, for example, because this is really a course which is only about protecting web applications. And web applications use the HTTP protocol. So students should already know some basic concepts. Okay, so when you go to that course, you should be able to pass 303 exam, and of course, again, you should add on top of that some of your experience. And if you pass that exam, then you become a F5 certified ASM, certified technology specialist ASM. So this is the ASM course. Now let's move on the configuring APM. APM stands for Access Policy Manager, and as a Roman said within his part, APM is a product which is able to provide some authentication services and remote access services and this kind of stuff. So that course cover basic and advanced topics of APM, such what is the access policy, what is the access profile, how you can use that kind of profiles, what is the visual policy editor, which is only the way how to configure your APM, and then you will be introduced to the application access or remote access or portal access, all these kind of technologies, how to manage the access of the clients to the application. Then you have topics like how to integrate APM with authentication servers, or how to integrate with the Active Domain, right? Microsoft Active Directory, sorry, and many others. And of course, there are a few topics which are focused on single sign-on technologies and credential caching, for example, SAML. Right? So these kind of topics are covered within that within that course. APM is also very complex course. It takes 3 days, and there is required prerequisites like administering Big IP course or F5 certified Big IP administrator certification. So, if you go to that course, then you must put, I would say, some experience on top of that, because I think that from my point of view, the 304 exam is, with the ASM, is the hardest one. What about you, Easy? Of course, in the level of in the 300 level. And yeah, you should put, of course, in each exam you have to put some experience, because as Jiří said, it is based on, I mean, the questions are based on the real world scenario, and the questions are written by guys like me, like Jiří, like Tomáš, sorry, like Roman, and yeah, it's real world scenario questions. So you have to have already some experience. So if you pass that, then you become a certified technology specialist for APM. Okay. So the last, the last, I would say, major course is configuring DNS. And the DNS, formerly known as a GTM or Global Traffic Manager, is a product which is able to provide an intelligent and accelerated DNS solution, or it is able to deliver a GSLB solution or application distribution delivery for the customer, for customers. And this course is 2 days, and it is focusing on DNS. The 90% of topics is about DNS, because it's a DNS. It is based on DNS technology. So there is, some basic information or some basic concepts how DNS technology works. Then you will get familiar with the DNS technology and the F5 intelligent and accelerated DNS solution, right? So there is several steps or several, approaches how to resolve the DNS query from the client, and how to do it intelligently or acceleratedly. Then there is topics like DNSSEC, which is technology to protecting DNS infrastructure itself. And of course, lots of topics are intended for the global server load balancing technologies, right? And how to deliver applications to your customers from multiple data centers or multiple continents or countries. So you will discuss these kind of topics and scenarios. It is of course required that the students should already attended to Big IP administrating Big IP, or they should be already F5 certified. So if you go to the certification and you want to be certified for GTM, then you should definitely attend to that course, because it can support you to achieve that kind or that level of certification. And if you pass that exam, then you become F5 CTS GTMO.
Milan, sir, Milan, sorry to interrupt. We have a question from here.
Yeah.
Regarding the DNS, is it a distributed DNS against the client's IP? Let's say a kind of GeoIP response regarding the location of the client.
Yeah, sure. There are lots of scenarios how you can deal with that distribution, and the geolocation is one of that. So you can use pre-built geolocation database, which is within the big IP. So you can say that if the local DNS, which is basically the client's DNS server or resolver, comes from Romania, then you can use answer which includes, for example, services which are located in Romania. So you can build this based on country levels or continent levels, or you can build your own rules. So you can create your own regions, which is based either on the pre-built regions like cities and so on, or you can specify your own subnets. So based on that, you can use geolocation load balancing method, that's the method. How is it named in big IP DNS? Yeah. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it was regarding DNS. Now configuring AFM. AFM is advanced firewall manager. And it is a network manager and device which is able to provide a DOS protection against the network DOS attacks. So, yeah, the goals of that course is to introduce the AFM interface and introduce some, flow, how to configure it, because AFM has several levels of where you can configure the rules, the firewall rules. Then there are a few chapters which are intended to introduce and demonstrate how to configure network DOS protection. So AFM is a network firewall with that kind of functionalities. The newest version of AFM, actually the TMOS, which runs on the big IP, introduced also some kind of IPS functionalities. So within that AFM, you can use some signatures to detect some types of attacks. And of course, there are lots of signatures for DOS, actually, to detect DOS attacks. And based on hardware platform, there are up to 120 DOS attacks which can be mitigated within the hardware. That course is takes 2 days. Yeah, takes 2 days. And again, administrating big IP or 5 big IP administrator certification is required. There is no specific certification for AFM and for rest of products. We will go through. So let's continue with AAM. AAM stands for Application Acceleration Manager, and that product is used to optimize HTTP traffic between client and service. In other words, it's a really powerful and well-managed HTTP cache, HTTP compression, and HTTP optimization platform, which delivers or should deliver better experience for clients when they are interacting with the customer web application. So that course is only 1 day, so it's quite fast, and you will be introduced to the HTTP optimization technologies and how to configure that optimization technologies on the big IP. Again, prerequisites are administrating big IP or F5 certified big IP administrator certification. Now, very specialized training or course is configuring big IP on Viprion platforms, because of Viprion has some unique features, and Roman was talking about that modular chassis. If you want to scale the performance of that chassis, you just put or just insert a new blade, and then you can, and this is how you can scale the performance of your solution. That platform has some unique features, right? And this 1 day course focus on that features and functionality of Viprion. And of course, there are lots of chapters which describe VCMP technology, which is a virtualization technology, which is also available not only in Viprion but also in the mid-range and higher platforms starting from 5000 series. Using VCMP, you can fully virtualize your big IP. So, for example, you can buy a 5000 series, and you can build up to 8 fully isolated virtualized guests on that one virtual server. So then you can have up to 8 unique instances of F5 big IP. So this is the course configuring big IP on Viprion. Then you have a specially developed course which is intended or which is focused on iRules. I think that the iRules weren't mentioned here. So iRule or iRules are technology which is used for the execution of some script when some event occurs. So it is a technology which can be used to modify traffic which is going through the big IP with the functionalities which are not built in big IP, which brings you a really a huge options how to configure your big IP, because if there is no such functionality within the TMOS, you can create your own functionality based on that scripting language, and that scripting language is based on TCL or TCL. So that course is about the introduction of that F5 iRules technology, and of course introduction of TCL scripting language. You will go through the iRule syntax and many other topics on the programming itself. Then there are lots of labs to write, apply, and evaluate the effects on the application traffic using iRules. And of course, there are again lots of chapters on the writing and the testing and troubleshooting methodology, which is really very important. That course takes 3 days, so it's really quite long, and it is about programming your functionality to the big IP. It is required that students should already attend it to administrating big IP and configuring big IP LTM, or become a F5 certified big IP administrator. Okay, and the last, this is not course, it's, let's say, it's a workshop. And that workshop is focused on F5 security technology. And students can get some, detailed touch on many security features and solutions which are developed and delivered by F5. And within that workshop, you will go through security features of LTM, ASM, APM, AFM, and FPS. And the FPS is this already discussed phishing and malware solution. So this is just workshop, and you will get touch with that combination of products and how to implement. For example, if you want to secure your web application, then you can use, for example, a combination of LTM, ASM, APM, and FPS, and you can put all these stuff together, and then your application is secure, it is authenticated, and it is protected from the web threats, right? Okay, and last but not least slide is about the classroom description, which is also very important. So each course, each training which is delivered by us or by F5 has unified environment, which is really good, because when you go on more, or if you are going to attend more training courses, then you will be in the same environment, and you will be already familiar with that environment. So all classes actually all courses support up to 16 students. So up to 16 students can attend within one course, and each student has its own pod. There is no sharing like in some trainings from Cisco. So each student has its own workstation. Each student has its own F5, actually big IP, and each student has its own backend server. So which is, I think, really good.